From WKGC's Studio A on the campus of Gulf Coast State College, the Military Hour with your host, Carrie Dieter, on AM 1480, Southport, Panama City, Florida.
We are starting the second hour of Military Hour this morning. We have three distinguished gentlemen here, special guests, and we're going to start with Mr. Dean Resch. And Dean, would you please do the introductions?
It'd be my pleasure, and thank you very much for having us this morning. This means a lot to us.
It's my honor that you would come out and do this, so it's about getting the word out. Thank you.
On my left is Archie Maynard from Pythagoras Lodge. Now, Archie has been the past master of the lodge, and in the Masonic District, number 6, he has been past District Deputy Grand Master, which is quite an honor. On my right, also from Pythagoras Lodge, is Joseph B. Fowler, also known as J.B. Fowler.
Not Joseph. That's J-O-E. No, I'm not Joseph.
All right, Joe Fowler. And he, not only is he a member of Pythagoras Lodge, but the reason that I am proud to have him with me today is he's a veteran of World War II.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much. My father was a World War II veteran also.
As was mine.
Not many of us left. Thank you.
No, truly the greatest generation.
And we'd like to start off this morning with Archie, because he has other things to do, but he's also going to speak to you about one of our current and very important charity benefits. So, Archie, over to you.
Thank you. I'd like to talk this morning about a Wounded Warriors Boston barbecue butt fundraiser that we're doing.
Talking my language, food.
Yeah. And what we're doing, we're taking on the challenge of smoking a bunch of Boston butts, and 100% of the proceeds is going to the Warriors Retreat, Mrs. Cope, out on the beach.
Warrior Beach Retreat.
And their charge is $30, and the tickets are on sale now, but the tickets, the 14th is the cutoff date for the sale of the tickets. And October the 31st will be the date for picking up the butts for those that have ordered them. And they will be picked up on 19th Street there at 1101 19th Street at the Shaddai Shrine Center there on 19th Street.
Okay.
They will be picked up there. This is put on by the 6th Masonic District Masters and Wardens Association, which is basically the Masons that live in this district, which takes in Bay County, Gulf County, and Franklin County. And we just thought we would like to do something other as an organization for Mrs. Cope for all the work that she does for our warriors. I mean, we're all very proud of them and everything. And,
yes, sir.
You know, me personally, I don't own a condominium that I can let her use or make a large donation like a corporation. But me as an individual, this is some way that I can give to something. And I feel there's a lot of people out there that want to make that make a donation, but they don't know exactly how to do it, or maybe they feel that $30 is too small or whatever. So I figured if we can group it all into one big donation, you have to make it so much better and give everybody an opportunity to donate that wants to donate. Yep. And I mean, like I say, she does such a great thing, and we're so honored to have her here in our community that will do this.
Yes, sir.
So we've got it out there. We've got the tickets, and if anybody that doesn't have a ticket or doesn't know anybody that has the tickets out there, if they will call my phone number at 850-527-0930, I will see that you get a ticket. If
One
I
more
have
time.
to, 850-527-0930, even if I have to come and bring the ticket to you myself. And then I've also had some elderly people, I say, and that say, well, that's a lot of meat. I can't eat a lot of meat, and or I don't like pork or whatever. Well, what I say to them is, buy the ticket. We will take the butt and we will donate it to the rescue mission downtown.
Terrific.
So that way you're helping two great things in this community for one simple $30. Yep. And it'll go a long way to help everybody. The money for Mrs. Cope, the food for the downtown at the rescue mission, and it's just all in all, it's a great thing, and we encourage everyone to get behind this. Our goal was 800.
Now, is that an actual ticket?
This is an actual ticket right here.
All right, folks, look at that.
And
$30. Get one.
And you can have it hold, or you can get it pulled, any way you like it. And we would just like the community to get behind this. I mean, like I say, it's your opportunity. It's everybody's opportunity to do something. You know, you stand there. It's great when everybody stands out and waves the flags on the bridge and all that. But this year is also gives you a chance to, you know, just say, here, thank you for what you do, and thank you for what you've done.
Yeah, I'm kind of guessing you're going to let me buy one of these.
Yes, sir.
So
I sure will.
This one's going to be mine.
All right, sir.
And I challenge all of you listeners to get a hold of Archie and make sure you get these tickets. Like he said, if you don't want the food, it'll get to the right people at the mission and be distributed. If you want the food, enjoy it. But all the proceeds are going to Warrior Beach Retreat.
100%.
Fabulous. Didn't want to interrupt you, but I want to make sure.
Right. No, that's fine. But again, I just think this is a very good, very caring community that we live in here, and I just think that I think it's going to be a great thing, and we appreciate everything everybody does. And again, thank you so much for letting us come here today and talk about it.
It's my honor to have you gentlemen here, and I'm real quick going to say to the folks that are listening and going to be watching, you can go on Facebook.com/Military Hour. I always put up all these events. This one's up there currently now as well. And if you want to find out what's happening in the community, check that out. Facebook Military Hour. If you have something you want to put it up there. I just won't allow anything derogatory, so it'd be removed immediately. Anyway, just wanted to get that in because the more that see, the better.
Hey, thank you.
Dean Resch.
Yes, sir.
I met you at a Veterans Affair, Simmons Veteran Home Miracle Ball game.
I remember.
Good to see you again.
Yes, it's good to be seen, and it's good to see you.
Thank you.
And by the way, from visiting with you this morning, I'll be going over to my Rotary Club meeting on the beach, Panama City Beach Rotary Club, and they're the ones that built the Miracle League field, which is a rubberized padded field, and we bring out the veterans to play.
Right.
And we also bring out children with disabilities who would never get picked for a ball team or any type of sport because of their problems, but we love them. We love to bring them out. They have a great time. We have a big picnic afterwards. And like Archie said, this is a terrific community. I'm involved in a lot of the charities, and my watchword is this. If we walk out the door with $1 more than we walked in with, we're a success.
Amen.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes, sir. I'll pick up pennies.
So we're very proud, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to see you out there because we meet a lot of people out there, and that's how we communicate with the people in Bay County, and especially Panama City Beach, and learn some things. So that's how you and I connected.
That is exactly.
And that's how it works.
I'm going to have to apologize to the listeners and viewers. I'm having one of my episodes. This is just some of the remnants of throat cancer. Happens occasionally. Sorry you're subjected to it, but it will pass. So, and J.B. Fowler. Good morning.
I'm a U.S. Navy veteran from World War II. I served in the Asiatic South Pacific. Most of my time was spent in the Philippine Islands, which you have a lot of islands there. I served on several of them. And I didn't get into the last 2 years of the war. And I went in the Philippines when we were going back and taking them over again. And it's something that we don't like to talk about.
Right.
I don't like to recall experiences that you have in the service. I'm sure Dean has a lot in his, but we went out in that war. That was a war that we could go to win. The wars we have today, you can't win because we set a limit on how far you can go, what you can do.
Right.
And when you have a war, somebody has to lose. So, but we don't do that anymore.
Well, politicians can't prosecute a war. We should leave the military prosecute a war, but we know how that's gone. So, yeah. And you're a Vietnam veteran, Dean, as am I.
I'd like to say that I'm so proud to have JB with us today.
Yes,
As
sir.
your dad served in World
Yes,
War II, so did mine. My dad, my uncle, and my dad's best friend, the day after Pearl Harbor, all enlisted in the Coast Guard. My dad was on a destroyer escort, and he went back and forth to Great Britain on the convoy escorts, which is very dangerous, as did his friend Walter. And my Uncle Matt was on a fireboat. And believe it or not, somewhere at some time, they connected. They came right up to each other and waved and hollered. And,
Wow.
but I'm so proud to have JB with us because it's a remnant of that horrible war. But it's also a nice thing to remember because he reminds me of the service that my dad and uncles performed.
I've got, and I'm going to share this with brother J.B. Fowler. I've got an uncle who is now 84 years old. He was a jumper, Screaming Eagle, and survived Normandy. And he's still with me, and he comes visit, and he's still in good shape. So, I mean, he's had some problems, of course, but, you know. But, of all things, what's his name? Sam. So I get to call him Uncle Sam. And I'm so glad I love him. My goodness, yeah. But
Well, that's interesting to me because on my second tour in Vietnam, I was with the 101st.
oh, is that right?
I was.
Screaming Eagles.
Yep, Screaming Eagles. And, of course, I was a pilot, so I was flying. I wasn't jumping at that time. It was frowned upon to jump and break a leg and not be able to fly.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I would like to say that I've always been a supporter. Ever since I got out of service, I've always supported the veterans.
Yes, sir.
Especially hospitalized veterans, blind veterans, and I still do it today. Even though I'm a veteran myself, but I know what they went through, and so I'm always willing to be out there to help them when I can.
Yes, sir. I understand that completely. It's about giving back, and yeah, you ate the same dirt, and
Right.
yeah. So
Well, I'm going to make a statement here, which will probably get some people upset. But
that's what I usually do.
yeah, and when you get to my age or our age, you speak your mind.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't worry about political correctness or hurting somebody's feelings
No.
because you know if they don't want to stand with us, they're free to stand in front of us
Yeah. Yeah.
as veterans. But ever since Korea, if you think about it, we have never lost. We leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, we did that in Korea. We did that in Vietnam.
Right.
We did that in Iraq. And look at the consequences. We never see it through. And that's heartbreaking. You know, when you count the bodies and the
Yeah.
blood, that's just heartbreaking. And I see the cycle coming back again. And it reminds me of the ostrich with the head in the sand
Yep.
until somebody comes by with a shotgun and
The
takes you
world-
out, and it's
the world's
over.
on fire, and nobody
Yeah.
sees it.
So I've said my piece.
Yeah. Well.
And I'm at peace, by the way. I'm at peace. I've reconciled myself to the fact that 3.5 years of my life are gone, as are many of my friends.
Yep.
Missed my family, missed the music,
Oh yeah.
missed the history of those 3.5 years. And I was bitter for a long time, quite
Yeah,
frankly. But I'm over it. I'm over it.
Yeah. I'm over it too, but I understand that bitterness completely. It's yeah. I didn't even want anybody to know.
Oh,
that-
yeah.
that
I came
was-
home off of my first
Got
tour.
rid of everything.
And, of course, my family welcomed me home, as did my mailman and a neighbor. Took me to a local watering hole.
First thing. Yep. That's the first thing we did.
And the rest of the people could care less
Yeah.
and didn't have a clue about the camaraderie, the brotherhood, or the people that shed their blood or paid the ultimate sacrifice. They just could care less.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you something that distresses me, and I got news of it. Another one yesterday. These young men and women coming back now, and so many committing suicide.
Oh, it's
I mean,
awful.
My heart just breaks. And one of my brothers got the information to me yesterday. 36-year-old over in Niceville, and took his life.
And it's excuse me, it's PTSD,
Yep.
it's guilt, and it's the fact that nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know, when they come home, people don't say, hey, you know, what a great job you did, and how can we help?
Other than this community, I mean, this is one of
Oh, this is a great community.
unique community.
It is.
In the whole nation. I'm not going to sit here and say this is the only community that rolls out the red carpet, so to speak, but there's tremendous amount of help here for veterans. And, of course, all the proximity of the bases and whatnot, and a lot of good veteran posts here help. But help is there. And one taken their life is too many.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't quite understand why it's happening, but sure, some of it's guilt and whatnot. But so many tours, some of these kids have done 4, 5, and 6 tours. Unheard of. Just it's
And
terrible.
I'm
terrible.
sure on each tour they've seen some horrible things, either to their own brothers in arms or to the locals.
Yep.
And
the
when
populace.
I was in Iraq, their thought process is a lot different than ours.
Yeah.
And life to them is pretty cheap. And women and children are even cheaper.
Right. Yeah.
So it was an eye-opener. And
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people would be better off in this country if they would visit some other countries and see how other people live and then appreciate how great this country
Yeah.
is.
Then come back and see what you got to talk about.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right.
Go ahead, Resch.
I was fortunate. I was in the service, but I was fortunate I didn't end up in Vietnam. I ended up in Germany. And a lot of the young guys, when they came back from Vietnam, they'd serve their year tour and they'd come back home and they'd give them 18, 20 days leave, and then they'd send them to Europe.
Mm.
And I think that a lot of them, that affected back then. They were, it's a whole different world over there. And then when they come home, just give them a few days and then send them off to someplace else, they would get over and they would talk about, about not being home, not seeing their family, not spending time with their families and stuff like that, that nobody cared. And I personally don't know. Like I say, I wasn't in Vietnam, so I didn't come back. But the way they were treated when they come back, that was disgraceful. American people would treat their people like that. I mean, those boys didn't ask to go over there, and they weren't. That's where they were. That's where they were told they were going to go, and it was like, yeah, it was terrible the way that people treated them when they came back, and it still affects me nowadays to watch this and watch how the military is treated nowadays. People, just upsets me. I had a little incident happen out there on the beach last year. I just wish the Lord I could have been there close by, because I probably would have been in jail. But I mean, I hate to say it that way, but I would never let that, and not in front of me, something like that happen. That's ridiculous.
Not going to happen.
Those people have no respect for themselves or anybody else that would even treat military people like that.
Yeah, we won't.
And I need to quit talking about
we don't
that, or I'll
stand for
get
that.
upset.
So.
All right, so my youngest brother spent 2 tours in Vietnam, and of course he's dead now. But then I had his brother's son, who lived in Chicago. He spent 2 tours over there, and he passed away because of the situation he was in. He got on drugs, and he died when he was just 20-some years old. Yeah. And Archie is right about the way they were treated. My brother was treated terrible, and we don't realize it, but the people in service, they're willing to go wherever the president says he wants you to go. They're willing to serve for us that are here, and I'm afraid we don't appreciate that enough. We don't stand for God and country anymore.
Some of us do.
Yeah, some of us do, but it's getting fewer and fewer people all the time.
They think because you're born here, you got that right.
Yeah.
Well, your rights are earned. They're not given. They're earned. And those people that have fought over the years, even back from the Revolutionary War,
Yes.
have given you the right to be able to get out here and drive your car over to the beach or whatever you want to do. People need to back up and think about those rights.
Oh, yeah. And the men and women that are serving are the ones that
are
give you the right to even do some of the ugly stuff
That's
you want
right.
to do. So, yeah, if it wouldn't be for all the men and women that have
I have a
ever
great
served.
story to tell you. When I was working up in the District of Columbia for a federal agency, I was in a cafeteria having lunch, and there's a couple of us sitting there. And one of the guys said, "Oh, you retired military guys, you got it made. You got the commissary, you got the PX, you got the Class 6 beverage store. You don't pay taxes.
Yeah, oh boy.
And you got the medical care." Well, I took about as much of that as I could, and I said, "Yeah, I'll tell you else what we got. We got the right to give up our life so you can say what you're saying." And he shut right up.
Yeah.
That cut him right off.
Yeah.
But you can only take so much of that. And going along with what Archie says, these kids coming back now, and I call them kids because we're not spring chickens anymore.
Right.
And our time has passed, and we're passing the baton to the newer generation, especially the military folks. And it's so sad to see how the VA is just overwhelmed. And these kids, these soldiers, these troops are coming back, and they're waiting such a long time for the help that they need. I'm not surprised at the suicide rate. I'm really not, and it's so sad.
And a lot of them, they'll even say, all they want to do is give me pills, give me pills, give me pills. It's like a pill factory. And
well, yeah, and that leads them down the wrong road also.
Yeah. Well, after some of my medical, I don't really detract from the VA. It's a bureaucracy that's, if we had some CEOs for some private corporations running it, would be much better. But it's a government ineffectual bureaucracy that is there's incompetence at a lot of levels. Now, in their defense, that's all I have for medical care. They've treated me like royalty as far as that goes. But as far as the inner workings, the administration and such, no. It's just fraught with problems.
I fought for years at St. Petersburg over my hearing. Flying helicopters, all those hours, 114 decibel, constant sound. You're going to have hearing loss. And they said, no, you got that after you got out of service, and fought. But as you say, the VA right here at the Navy base in Panama City Beach have been above and beyond. I can't say enough good about them.
Oh, yeah.
They're wonderful people.
Yeah. And I've had to have operations where they sent me from here to Atlanta to have those done. And I don't know why I didn't go to Biloxi, but I guess they had specialists there that could do it. And, again, treated like royalty. But, yeah, it's a system that you have to traverse and be patient with. I mean, unless it's life-threatening right away, and then you just got to go to the emergency room. So.
And I'm afraid, I don't know this for a fact, but it seems to me, having dealt with some of the people beyond the Panama City Clinic, I don't think they're veterans. I think they might be contractors hired off the street or maybe lower-grade civil service employees that don't have a clue.
More.
Don't have a clue. They don't understand about ringing in your ears and chronic this and blood problems, and they just don't get it.
Right.
And rather than help, they just write you off as no.
Yep, I'm pulling this out of my hat, but I believe I read this statistic somewhere that in the VA, 30% of the employees are former military. 3 out of 10. That's bad.
That's terrible.
That's bad.
That's terrible.
So
because they just don't understand what people go through.
I don't know if they've addressed your issue, but I go pick up my hearing aids on the 16th in Pensacola.
Well, I guess I'm kind of vain because they said, well, you can get hearing aids if you want them. But I don't think I'm quite that far. Of course, my wife does not agree with that because we fight constantly over the remote on volume.
Dean, I know you don't know me that well, but trust me on this one, she's right.
Yeah.
Same deal that was going on with me and my wife. But here was my mistake. They diagnosed me and did all the tests a year and a half ago, and they gave me the number. Call this number and get your hearing aids. And I'm in denial. I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need that. Well, I called up finally, agreeing with my wife that since I'm cupping my ears and I've got the TV on 90 and she needs it on 20 on the volume level, that, I better have it. Go call and get those things. So I called to get them, and what's your name? What's your last four? You know the drill. And I said, I need to get those hearing aids. He says, you were supposed to do that within 2 months of your testing. I said, oh, well, I was kind of in denial. Well, we need to retest you. I said, okay. So they gave me, and me being who I am, first thing out of my mouth was, what do you think, it's getting better?
Yeah, how does it improve?
So I'm thinking, why do you want to test me again? I got a problem. But what it was, when I got there, then I realized they test them now because those things are so advanced to the frequencies that you're not hearing, and they can dial all that in so that, and it's Bluetooth for the TV, all kind of stuff. So anyway, my wife's happy again that I'm going to get them.
and what you get from them is top of the line.
Oh, absolutely.
It's great stuff.
Absolutely.
When you get it.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm going to get No, they're there. I got to go pick them up on the 16th. So, but anyway, I went down a rabbit hole there. This is about you, not about me. But having that, I remember they asked me too, what do you think caused your hearing loss? And I thought, well, that's a crazy question. I looked at them. I went, I won't use the word I used, but I said stuff that goes boom, you know, and a lot of it. They didn't ask me another question. So.
One thing that we would like to get the public to know, and which we didn't bring it out, is that we want the public to know what Masons do. And people have had misconception about Masonry for over the years. I've been a Mason for 64 years. I'm also a Christian, and I'm a deacon of the church. And a lot of churches don't believe, but we have a lot of preachers that are Masons. But what I wanted to say is that, you know, our motto is that we take a good man and make a better man out of him.
Great motto.
And a lot of people don't realize that, but Masonry is an excellent organization. There's nothing derogatory about Masonry whatsoever, believe me. Thank you.
Well, I've known a lot of Masonic members through the years, and like you said, in fact, the church I attended in Georgia, a lot of them were deacons in the church, and just great people, good people. So, in any event, I'm not one of those that is a detractor, and the organization that I'm wholeheartedly a part of, much the same way. You know, we want to do what's right. We want to take the high road, and we don't have that particular motto. In fact, that might be one of our problems. But one of our problems is not only misconception, but people don't know. And we've been around since 1920. That's a long time.
And the problem when people don't know, that's when they make up and fill in the blanks.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and if they're not attuned to what really is the truth,
right,
we get some anti-Mason rhetoric out there. And then people believe it.
Exactly. And I stopped that, you know, they'll say nip it in the bud. Because I had the occasion, and again, this is not about me or my organization, but somebody said, well, we heard that y'all don't have or allow women. I'm like, well, time out. That is untrue. That is a falsity. That is a lie. We are open to all honorably discharged veterans. Yeah. You don't have to serve in a combat theater. You have to be honorably discharged. Nothing else will do. And, of course, you go through the investigative. You know how that stuff is. So, anyway.
And we do the same.
Up to a couple of years ago, actually, a Mason couldn't go out and advertise or go out and talk to people about Masonry in order to get them in the organization. Usually it was always, you know one, ask one. That was the motto. No one, ask one. And that's how you got into the fraternity. But in the last few years, like all organizations, membership is dropping off and everything. So they've opened it up to where I could go talk to you about Masonry and to get, talk to you about joining Masonry. But we can't come up and just basically open up a booth out here, like that. But again, like JB says, it's take a good man to make him better, make him a better father, mother, dad, or better husband, and his wife to know that when he goes out and he meets with us, he's not off at the local bar or whatever, because there was no alcohol involved in our program whatsoever. And there's so many different ways you can get into Masonry. Once you become a Mason, you can become a Shriner. A lot of people want to know, how do I be a Shriner? Well, you have to be a Mason before you can be a Shriner. And then you got your Scottish Rite, that what we have. And all those organizations deal with children.
Right.
The children is their number one thing. Like the Scottish Rite, we have a language disorder clinic here in town for the Scottish Rite.
Didn't know that.
Yes, and then we have the Shriners, which has 22 Shriner hospitals all over the country. Free medical care. Free medical care for orthopedic or burn and all of that. We do I never could say that.
Spina bifida.
Yeah. Cleft palates and just all of that and it all leads off from the Masonic Lodge that you start out in. That's where you start from and you work. Our Masonic Lodge does charity work. Pythagoras is located on the beach. So we donate to every one of the schools on our beach. Matter of fact about it, I spent last week going around and we have what we call an adopter teacher program. And we go and we adopt one teacher from the 4 elementary schools on the beach, and we give her $200. They'll give her that $200. She's just able to spend it in her classroom the way she wants. She wants to buy toys for her kids or just whatever. And we picked out 4 of those. We support Arnold Special Olympics. We support the Arnold Pre-K. Child ID. We do. We helped out. What's the name of that? I apologize for this. The surf shop down on Thomas Drive.
Ron John?
No, not Ron John's. The other surf shop. Anyway, he does Bibles for kids, and we support him and give him money to buy Bibles with, and we do a lot of things, and our main objective is kids, children, or whatever. And that's the whole Masonic fraternity from the bottom to the top. That's our main thing is children. And we do a lot.
Yeah, that is terrific. Some of it I was aware of, some of it I was not. But and we kind of we do the same thing. We have a child welfare program. That's one of our biggest ones. And nurses is our other real big one. So, understood. We do flags for first graders in schools to teach them about the flag. Love that program. And I got one of our guys dresses up like George Washington, come in full costume. Yeah. Kids love it.
Eye-opener for them.
Oh, yeah. Teach them how to fold the flag, everything. So it's good to know there are good organizations out there.
We do a lot of good in the community that people, we don't advertise it. That's the problem. We don't get on TV and throw up a big check or whatever in front of everybody. We kind of, I guess you call us behind the scenes kind of guys. We just want to do it. That's the biggest thing. We're not getting anything out of it by doing it. We like to do it.
See, now you're talking like us, and I tell people we're kind of like the FBI and the CIA.
Yes.
We do a lot of good work behind the scenes that you don't know about.
But
we're now trying to change that by publicizing who we are and what we do. Not trying to really gather numbers because that's a whole different deal for members. Because you do have to be vetted and whatnot.
Well, that's one thing that was behind this here when I come up with the idea of doing this was to be able to say that the Masons, we're behind this, we're supporting this, and give us, good eyes in the public. People say, well, maybe them guys not so bad after all. You know. So we just do a lot. We do a lot of work in the community that we don't really, expect people. We don't expect anything out of it when we do it to begin with.
Well, no, we don't either. We got to give it away.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's
our
what we
goal.
want to do.
That's our goal.
Exactly.
Is to work in our community.
Yeah, and I'm one of those that we don't need division. If we can all somehow help support one another, buy a ticket, get a butt, okay? So now that helps your organization, the Masons, keep giving back, and it's going to Wounded Warrior Beach Retreat, and it's helping Linda Cope's organization, and the people that don't want to take the meat, going to donate it to the mission. So now you're helping more people.
That's right.
You can do so much good with so much little, you'd be surprised.
That's right.
What can be done.
Only takes a little effort.
Exactly. And talking about membership, I try to stress locally, because with us, everything goes this way: local, state, national, not the other way down. It doesn't work that way with us. So as far as our local membership, and we're county organizations, I try to encourage all our members, each one, reach one. Mm-hmm. That's all you have to do to grow. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all know quality people, and if they're interested, talk to them. If they're not, keep loving them for who they are and what they are.
Everybody's got a neighbor somewhere.
Exactly. And if they don't want to be a part, don't get upset.
Maybe it's time you got to introduce yourself to your neighbor.
There you go. See, now that's something we do where we live. We're in a little, like a cul-de-sac, and we all know one another, and the whole area, everybody's a veteran. Mm-hmm. And we all look out for each other. And, something's not normal or something's going on, hey, everything okay?
Right.
So, yeah. We need to get back to that like it was when we grew up. Know your neighbors. It just helps.
You'd be surprised how many people don't know who lives 3 houses down from them.
I know, yeah. And me, I'm just nosy. I want to meet you.
I want to know who's moving in over there.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to walk my butt over and go, hey, I'm Dieter. Who are you? Yeah, where are you from? What do you do?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a veteran too? Yeah, cool. Let's talk. Or whatever the case may be. But in any event,
Well, a lot of people probably aren't aware that the Shriners part of our Masonic fraternity are the world's largest philanthropy.
yeah,
Over $1 million a day.
yeah,
That's a lot of money. And the Scottish Rite, as Archie says, has the Scottish Rite Foundation for children with learning and speech and communications disabilities. The York Rite is eyes,
okay,
taking care of eye problems and glasses. And of course, at the Blue Lodge or the local lodge level, it's local community charity. But what I like about it more than anything is we're charitable to each other.
Oh, of course.
We take care of each other,
Yep.
and then we take care of people in need.
Yep.
But you can always count on your brother.
There you go. And us spoofing the French, we have one little thing, like if you needed help, it's aide-moi, help me, And if let's say you're involved in something you can't, then you make sure there's another brother that knows what's going on, and hey, I can't help today, but can you, and boom, and there you go.
And we don't solicit to help somebody. If we know somebody's got a problem,
Yeah,
we
you
wait
just
until
do
they
it.
ask. We don't pry.
Right.
And if they need us, they'll ask, and we're obligated to help them.
Yeah,
And we do.
and that's what the aide-moi is. Yeah,
And it
aid
should
me.
be.
Hey, I need help. Yeah. So yeah, we don't.
Whenever one of our members dies, if he's married, immediately the wife gets money right away, because so she doesn't have to worry about anything, and our lodge usually gives them money right away.
Absolutely.
To take care of them. There's always somebody there to help them out.
I'm hearing a lot of similarities here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is. There's
Very
one-
many.
I took a couple of widows from my car unit at the shrine to lunch the other day, just to let them know that we haven't forgotten them.
Right.
We got them. I got them out of town. We went up to Compass Lake to a restaurant up there and had a great time. And they're going to come back to the meetings, which we have the ladies at our meetings, and we slip off to the side and do our business, and then we all eat a big meal together,
There you go.
and then parades with the old cars and go to car shows and do all those things. But always in the back of our mind is, how can we help the kids? What can we do here that's going to help the kids? Even if it's putting a sign up on the back seat of the car, Shriners
Sure.
help children,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So we're always
absolutely.
interested to do
And
that.
what the greatest part of it is, it's all free. There's no charge. It's all free.
I'd like to say, if there's anybody out there that has a child that needs help, call the shrine. Call your shrine center, and they will tell you what you have to do to get the kid on. It won't cost you anything. If you have insurance, they will file the insurance for you, but it'll never cost you a penny. They'll take whatever insurance they can get, but it's free to you. You'll never be out a cent.
They'll take
That's
it.
fantastic.
They'll transport the child and an adult anywhere in the country. Like I say, there's 22 hospitals.
Right.
And we got kids right here from our hospital here that go to Twin City, to the hospital up there. They fly them up there, up and back, at no charge to the family. The shrine pays for all that. They will take care of all your motel bills, everything. They buy you food. I mean, it costs you nothing.
And that's
to
Scottish,
take that
right?
No, that's the shrine.
Shriners.
Shriners.
That's the shrine. And it's entirely free. Once your child becomes a Shriner kid, that's what we call them. We call them Shriner kids. And once they become a Shriner kid, if it has to do with that child's medical, you'll never pay a dime out of your pocket for
fantastic.
for nothing.
That's
Now, the
fantastic.
Scottish Rite, we talked about the communication capabilities or non-capabilities, and we had a clinic downtown, and a lady who did the work retired. So we got into an agreement with Gulf Coast and set up a clinic for the communication skills that are required, to be a good citizen in the country. And what we do is we underwrite it. And by that, the money will not go to overhead, will not go to salaries, won't go to the power bill, it goes to the child. If the child can pay with insurance, fine. But no child will get turned away. That's where the Scottish Rite funds come in to take care of the child. So it's free.
See, now you taught me something. Good, I didn't
Now,
know that.
getting back to the shrine, we support 2 hospitals out of our Panama City Shrine Temple, and that's the Shriners Hospital for Children in Tampa and the Burn Hospital in Galveston. However, That doesn't mean we can't send you to a hospital that has a capability and has the doctors and the staff and the technology to work on that problem.
Huh.
And a good example, years ago, we had a young man who was riding his bike, and he was jumping over a ditch, turned upside down and broke his spine, paralyzed from the chest down. And we put him on an airplane that we leased with a doctor and a nurse on board, a Learjet, flew him up to Philadelphia, and they implanted electrodes in his hand so that he could grab a utensil and feed himself, which was amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
And that would not have happened because they were very, very, very poor. And we got to them, and that's how that works.
Terrific.
Not a dime out of their pocket.
See, to me, any of that kind of stuff that any organization does, that should be shouted from the rooftops.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we're going to send the child wherever. Orthopedic is so many different types of stuff. And we got doctors that specialize it in one area at a one certain hospital, and we're going to send that child to that hospital where they get the best care.
Well, that just makes sense, yeah.
And the Shrine hospitals have been very, I don't know how to say it, but they've invented a lot of things at Shrine Hospital that people just don't realize, like the artificial skin and the process of growing bones and stuff like that. That's all started at a Shrine Hospital, at a Shriners Hospital.
A lot of the medical people like to go to Shrine hospitals because a lot of them are research hospitals along with their normal capability of helping the children. And like Archie said, that synthetic skin came from our Tampa hospital research.
I'm going to share something with you about our organization. You may know what Hansen's disease is.
Yes, I do.
The old biblical leprosy disease.
Mm-hmm.
We have been instrumental from the outset in helping find a cure. Now it's through the National Health Institute. But in any event, long story short, that is now curable. However, it is on the rise. And guess where it's on the rise at? Central Florida. The carrier of the disease is the armadillo. Now, through a regimen of medicine, that can be cured. It's a 2-year process. The problem with that disease is it doesn't manifest itself because the incubation period is so lengthy. Could be 5 years, 10 years, as much as 20 years. But now it's curable. And all that research was adopted. A lot of it was adopted by the ADA, American Diabetic Association, because of neuropathy with diabetics in their feet and their hand, because the Hansen disease initially affects extremities. And so that was part of my learning curve several years ago, but I actually got to visit the hospital and the old leper colony. And wow, what an eye-opener. Carville, Louisiana is where it's located. And we still produce a newspaper, and at some point I'll get one to you just so you can peruse it. But yeah, people don't. Why didn't we shout that from the rooftops? You know?
Well, it's because it's not so prevalent anymore. You know, it's not one of the top diseases that are out there, like the cancers and diabetes. And I have neuropathy. I know what that's like.
Yeah.
I mean, and I have tinnitus. My ears ring so loud, I'm surprised you can't hear it. But you learn to live with it.
I'm almost deaf. So.
You learn to live with it. You ignore it. You
Yeah.
keep busy, and you don't have time for it.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
So, you know that biblical disease, they had to walk around unclean. But and there's a history museum there. You can tour the hospital. And it's actually in Carville, now it's a post, a reserve post, Army Reserve Post. So you have to get checked out going in there, but they'll let you in. So,
well, I visited the one in Panama, leper colony, right on the water, and it didn't go in. We stayed outside and just kind of visited, but did not go in. And they told me that the community in there is shrinking because of medical advances.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful news. And the human beings have a 95%, what's the word I'm looking for? 95% of us can't contract the disease. Those that are susceptible are about 5% of the human population. So, and then catching it's very low. But again, they think the critter that propagates it and is the carrier is the armadillo.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, who'd have thunk it, right? But there you go. Yeah, I've gotten a bit of a education on that, so and pretty cool stuff.
Well, I'm going to throw in a plug for our Rotary Club on the beach, which I'm going to right after here.
Do it.
The Rotary International, our big thing is polio, and we just recently found out that we have eliminated polio in Nigeria, and it takes it's a 3-year process. It's eliminated, but it'll take 3 years to ensure that it's completely free. And now there's only 2 countries in the world, Pakistan and Afghanistan, with polio.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah,
That used to be a
don't
very bad disease.
Oh,
Yeah, in fact,
growing up in high school, a couple of kids in high school had it.
I knew kids that had polio when I was growing up, yeah.
So there's I'm sorry.
My wife had polio. I married a girl with polio, and she had it when she was about 9 or 10 years old. And back then, all they could do was they put you in that incubator thing.
Iron lung,
and then they wanted to put her in thing from neck down, to waist. But she didn't want it. Naturally, it was a mistake on her part, but because she had a terrific curvature, the spine.
Yeah, I'd see a lot of them in braces. And
she went on and became a teacher.
Good for her.
And she worked in administration of the Board of Education for years, retired from there for 27 and a half years.
That is absolutely wonderful. And is your wife still with you, Jamie?
No, she passed away 11 years ago.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, but she must have been an extraordinary lady.
Well, she had to be. Had to be.
Put up with JB.
Yeah,
that's true.
Got me a good one, too, so I'm glad I got her.
Got me a good one.
I have a great one.
Yeah, she kept me straight, fellas. She really did.
Oh, yeah.
If I'd say something, she'd say, "Now, Jay, if you can't say anything good about people, don't say anything."
Yeah, there you go.
I hear that all the time. Again, I'd like to put in another plug for our butt cooking real quick.
Yes.
And to remind everybody that phone number is 850-527-0930. And again, if you will call me, I will get somebody you can get with the ticket, or I will bring you a ticket personally and drop it off to you. But we'd appreciate everybody's help and support.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, that is Archie Maynard, Pythagoras Lodge on the beach. And call him up, make his phone ring, and get them $30 bills out, and let's make it happen.
Remember that the cutoff for the tickets is the 14th, so that they know how many to order to cook.
Yep.
And I got answering machine on it, or answering service on it. So just leave me a message. I'll spend the weekend delivering tickets.
Tell them the pickup date again and where at.
The pickup date is October the 31st. That's Halloween Day, and the pickup is at 1101 19th Street, and that is the Shaddai Shrine Center there on the 19th Street. We'll be back out in the back at the pavilion, and you can come out there and pick it up. You can get it pulled or holed, whichever you would like.
And that's a great facility out there, too. I kind of rode through there a couple times.
Yeah, it's
The
a
pickup
real
time, you might want to mention. The pickup time is on the ticket there. And
10 to 2.
It's on a Saturday from 10 to 2, isn't it, Arch?
Yeah, 10 to 2.
Yeah.
10 to 2 on the 31st.
But when they get that stub of the ticket, they'll see it on there what time they can pick it up.
You have to give us time to pull it, and wrap it, and put it in coolers so that when they come to pick it up, it's...
a lot of folks do Halloween parties, too.
That's great for a Halloween party. Yeah. Everybody likes pulled pork.
And what's the average size weight?
Well, if you get it pulled, it's going to run about 5. The cook weight is going to be about 10 to 11 pounds. Mm-hmm. And then once it's cooked, you're going to have it pulled, you're going to get about 5.5 to 6 pounds of meat.
The yield will be 5.5 to 6. That's a lot of meat.
It's a lot of meat.
A lot of meat. A lot of sandwiches.
I can guarantee they're good because I buy one every time we cook them.
I'm getting one. Y'all get yours, too.
I got one for my son.
You won't get no better.
Yep.
And I got another plug to put in if I can.
Plug away. We're about to come up on time to go.
Okay, real quickly.
You do it.
I gave a ticket to my friends over at Beach 95.1 radio station because they allow me every Saturday to come in and join Rocky and Randall and their
Rocky
road show.
Yeah.
And they're both veterans, by the way.
Yes.
And I read the name of local veterans, or I give facts about veterans, movie stars, sports, astronauts.
Good deal.
And I'm just so honored that they allow me to come in.
From WKGC's Studio A on the campus of Gulf Coast State College, The Military Hour with your host, Carrie Dieter, on AM 1480, Southport, Panama City, Florida.